The breakthrough that has happened in the Gaza ceasefire deal. Hamas has responded to Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan. Hamas has agreed to free the Israeli hostages. Hamas, in a statement, said they appreciate Donald Trump's efforts to end the war. Response after Donald Trump's weekend ultimatum. Ready to negotiate immediately, agree to hand over the Gaza administration to Palestinian independence. Donald Trump is praising the nations for signing the Gaza peace deal. This is the latest that is coming in. Hamas has agreed to free the Israeli hostages, which was one of the major concerns that Israel was raising over the past many months. Listen in to what the US President has said.
I want to thank the countries that helped me put this together. Qatar, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and so many others. So many people fought so hard. This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete. Very importantly, I look forward to having the hostages come home to their parents and having some of the hostages, unfortunately, you know the condition they're in, come home likewise to their parents because their parents wanted them just as much as though that young man or young woman were alive. So I just want to let you know that this is a very special day, maybe unprecedented in many ways. It is unprecedented. But thank you all, and thank you all to those great countries that helped. We were given a tremendous amount of help. Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East. And we're very close to achieving that. Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
My colleague Ashutosh Mishra is now joining me on the story. Ashutosh, what we are seeing is actually historic. This is something that the US President Donald Trump time and again was speaking with. And if this goes through exactly how US President Donald Trump has been speaking of, then we could see US President saying that this is exactly what he wanted to do, bring peace to the world.
And this is going to be, Ashwarya, nearly more than 2 years of this war between Hamas and Israelis. And if you remember, today is on the 4th of October. 7th October was the the terror attack by Hamas on Israel. So nearly 2 years, and now we see finally it is coming to end. I read the Hamas statement, finally agreed upon. Remember, even by India time, last evening, the President Trump's tweet where he made the social media post that this is the last option that Hamas has for now, either to agree on these terms or there is a gates of hell is always open. But finally, looking at there is an agreement by the Hamas, and in fact, the world leaders have also welcomed this formula. Remember, the President Trump with a meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agreed upon and proposed 20 formulas, 20 steps, where included it was handing over all the hostages, dead or alive. Subsequent to hand over the administration to the leader, that will, of course, Israel will also play a key role, including UAE and Qatar. However, the role of Hamas will be very restricted in that terms. And clearly, at the moment, what we have seen, the kind of negotiation that was carried out in Doha between Hamas and Mossad and other Israeli authorities and President Trump. Since you can remember, ever since President Trump took oath as a president of the United States, his primary concern was first to eliminate all these wars going in a different region. And here, what happens in the Middle East of this part, clearly it was also disrupting the geopolitics. So this looks like a major achievement for President Trump. The world leaders have also welcomed this step. We were reading the statement from the Keith Starmer, the British Prime Minister, the Italian Prime Minister, the French presidents, everyone welcoming this proposal of the Hamas finally was agreed upon on the 20-step formula proposed by the President Trump. So it looks like another 72 hours going to be very critical and crucial. Hamas has agreed to hand over all the hostages. However, it says the proper environment need to be provided where they will also ensure security and safety of the Hamas fighters as well. Islamic resistance movements has also conveyed their message. In fact, at the same time, I'm also getting a statement from the Israeli Prime Minister's office where the Benjamin Netanyahu's office says that following Hamas response, Israel is preparing for the first stage, immediate implementation of the first stage of President Trump's plan for the immediate release of the hostages. Now remember, in the 20-step formula that was proposed by President Trump, the primary it was to hand over the hostages.
Right.
That's the statement, official statement of the Benjamin Netanyahu's office. We will continue to work in a full cooperation with the President and his team in order to bring the war to end in accordance with the principles of the Fourth of Israel, which are consistent with the President Trump's vision. So clearly, where we see the statement by Hamas, the Israeli Prime Minister has also agreed to fulfill these the commitments from both the sides, and another 72 are going to be crucial. Aishwarya.
Right, Ashutosh, please stay on with me. We've got some more news which is coming in with regards to the peace deal that it seems now will be fulfilled both from the Israel as well as Hamas's side. It's the leaders who have now started to hail Donald Trump over Gaza peace deal. It's the UK Prime Minister, the France President, even the Italian Prime Minister. All of them are hailing US President Donald Trump. Israeli PMO in a statement have said that they are now preparing for the first stage of the ceasefire. We continue to work with Donald Trump. Qatar, Egypt and the United Nations, all of them are welcoming Hamas's response. My colleague Ashutosh is with me on the story. Ashutosh, as you were clearly pointing out, we are now seeing the first statement which is coming in. Israel also now has started to walk towards the peace deal, and they are saying they are preparing for the first stage of the peace deal.
And the first stage is, of course, the handing over of the hostages. Now, there is still no information that how many hostages are alive and how many stages could be potentially dead during the conflict. But as far as world leaders are concerned, now remember, for past 1 month, the kind of aggression Israel was showing in Gaza Patti, almost entire city has been ruined. The Gaza envelope has totally been destructed and destroyed. In fact, that also attracted the condemnation from France, from Italy, from Britain, and even recently during the UN meetings, the General Assembly meeting, many of these nations also acknowledged Palestine as a state, including France to Britain, and that was a major setback to as far as the global strategy of Israel is concerned. Now, given the recognition recently, we have seen the amount of the convoy of the ship that were floated towards Gaza Patti, to the Gaza envelope with the aid and relief, including the social activist Greta Thunberg, who was detained by the Israeli authority. So clearly, for last couple of months or for a little longer time, if we see from there was all the actions by Israel was actually attracting condemnation from all sides, including United States. In fact, also recently, if you see the attack that Israel carried out in Doha on the Hamas leadership, that was also condemned by not only Qatar but also America. And when Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House met President Trump, he even asked to apologize to the Qatar leadership, and those images gone viral. So clearly, it looks like America has played really a great role in that, where as far as negotiations are concerned, as far as talks between Hamas and Israel is concerned, from Doha to White House, and all the global leaders were complete in support of, because that also disrupts your Mediterranean Sea trade route, subsequent to disruption in entire Middle East. We have seen playing role by Yemen, we have seen being role played by Syria and Iran. So clearly, it was not only confined a war within Israel between Hamas and the other leadership, but it was actually expanding beyond Israel to Iran, to Syria, to Yemen. So all these, the entire region getting disrupted, and that's why we see this major appreciation coming from the global leaders.
Thank you, Ashutosh, giving us all those details. Appreciation coming in from across the world now. US President Donald Trump being hailed for the Gaza ceasefire.